I know you might hate me in this video, but I honestly don't care. And I don't want to sound ungrateful, because I am. I really love the life I have now, and I struggled a lot to have it. It took me 7 years to build the structure that I needed to become a digital nomad, to be all year long, walking around the world, going to the countries that I want to see. Last video was in Moldova, right now I'm in Hungary, tomorrow I'm gonna be in Poland, and 2 days after that I'm gonna be in Tallinn, Estonia. But this is something that you have to avoid when you're a digital nomad. This is something that you have to avoid when you're trying to travel to see different realities, is visiting extremely touristic places. Don't get me wrong, Budapest is beautiful. Hungary, it should be amazing. But this is the worst thing you can do when you're traveling, going to places that everybody is going to. So why am I here? Well, I know that. I know that you shouldn't go to those places. But this is just a layover. I'm going from Moldova to Estonia, and the airplane prices would be the same if I went directly or if I stopped here. So why not stopping? It is a beautiful city. It is a beautiful parliament. But take a look around. Every single person here is a tourist. Nobody here is Hungarian except for the security officers that you can see back there in the parliament. And one of the best things that you can have in your trip is getting to know locals. Going to a restaurant where there is like a grandma who has been cooking that way since she was a young lady, and you get to try her recipe. Going to a bakery where they have been making bread and pastries just like that since the 50s. Going to a pub and making friends with locals. Going to the gym and bonding with locals. But everywhere you go here is just a whole bunch of tourists. Every single restaurant you go here has international menu. They have it all in English. And the prices, they're much higher than in the smaller cities because it's full of tourists and tourists can afford it. So when you come here to Budapest, you don't see Hungary, you see Budapest. It's different. Just like when you go to Paris. When you go to a small country like Moldova, you go to Chisinau, you are seeing Moldova. I know that there are other cities, there are other things to do, there are other cultures inside the country, everybody knows that. But Chisinau is still traditional. Sarajevo in Bosnia is still traditional because those are small capital cities. But when you come to a big one like here, every single person is a tourist. You don't see the country. And it is beautiful to take a look at those beautiful buildings. It is interesting to take photos here, to make videos, to meet tourists. It is fun to meet tourists, of course it is. You have people to hang out with, you have people to drink with, you see a lot of beautiful girls anywhere you go. However, you don't see Hungary, you don't see the country. You see a beautiful city with incredible architecture and a whole bunch of people trying to do the same you're doing. So my piece of advice to you, if you want to see Hungary, do what I'm gonna do next year. Go to the second biggest city, not here. You can come here for a weekend, and I truly recommend it because the place is beautiful, as I said. Well, not only as I said, as you can see, it's marvelous here. But this is not the place you're going to get to know a culture. This is not the place you should be if you want to explore Hungary. This is the place you come for the weekend to be amazed with what you see, but this is definitely not the place you should stay for a month or two. This is not the place you are going to bond with locals and learn about what it is to be a Hungarian, what it is to be amongst them, to have friends with them, because you don't even know them. Every single person is a tourist. So as I said, if you're just looking for a fun weekend, this is the place. It is fun. There are bars, pubs and clubs all over the city. If you want to see beautiful architecture, yes, truly recommend. If you want to meet a whole bunch of fun people, cool. But if you want to see culture, if you want to explore, if you want to see different things, different ways of thinking, different culture, different traditions, that's not the place. You don't get that in international cities. and this is one of the most international cities I've been to. Just like when I lived in the UK, London is not the place that you're going to see England. You're going to see England in the countryside. So that's the thing here. And as a whole, every big country that you go, always try to go to maybe the second or third biggest city. Just like when I was in Poland, I was most of the time in Łódź, which is the third biggest city and has no tourism at all. It was pure Poland, pure Polish culture, Polish people born and raised who have been doing those same things for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And that's the beauty of being abroad, because in Łódź you actually have the Polish experience. In Krakow, in Warsaw, they're both beautiful, they're both amazing, but it's touristic. Not as much as here, but still. So when you go to a very small country, you can definitely go to the capital, because if you go to the second or third biggest city, it's going to be tiny and maybe you won't even have too much structure there. But when you come to the big ones, the touristic ones, stay away from the capital if you want to have a truly interesting experience, if you really want to get to know local people and expand your knowledge and see the best that the country has to offer. Come to the capital to see how it is, but go to smaller cities to live life like a Hungarian does. And that's my advice to you. I hope you understood my message. I don't want to be ungrateful, as I said, for being here. I'm just saying this is a trip and not a living experience, and I hope it made sense for you.